Lads, welcome back to Fusion YGO. Today, we're checking in and saying hey, seeing how you doing, and we're bringing you a deck profile on a deck I talked about on Twitter, on the tweets. So, I've built an Orcust deck profile that I'm very proud of, and I'm going to show it off to you guys right now. And a whopping 89% of you decided you wanted to see this, so we're going to do this, and we're going to show it off. The next deck we'll be talking about in detail and breaking down the math and all that other good stuff on is still in development. We'll let you know. But make sure you stick around and check out the whole video. We're going to talk about the math and how that works. And if you want to see a combo tutorial for this deck, make sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. If you're new here, welcome to the team. And let's go ahead and dive right into the deck profile, starting now. Okay, so going into the deck profile, you are going to see that this is very shiny. Alright, so this is 50 cards, and it is silly consistent. We're going to go through each package, and we're going to talk about it. So first up, we got 3 copies of Girsu. Girsu is one of your play starters. You run 21 one-card combos. This is a one-card combo. It's probably the weakest of your one-card combos, but it's still really good. Being able to dump a card, it's an Armageddon Knight for the archetype, and it's also a Phantom Sky Blaster because it summons a token, and it gives your opponent one. All of that's really good stuff. Next up is going to be 2 copies of Orcust Nightmare. Nightmare is your closest version of Harp Horror. Bring back my boy. But this card actually can come up in the battle phase. People forget that it gives a boost of attack. So it's one of those things where in the grind game, Nightmare being able to recurrent as much as we do, the card giving the boost of, like, let's say 4, 3, 700 attack, whatever. It's pretty good. 2 copies of Simple Skeleton. It's your monster reborn. Being able to summon Dingirsu during your opponent's combo is really fun. 1 copy of Bombard. Bombard is just there, like, if we open this, and let's say we open Girsu, we can dump Bombard instead to freely summon Girsu and start our Orcust plays that way. So it's just an additional way to start them. 2 copies of World Wand. It's World Wand. It recurs your resources. It summons something back, and it gets your Orcust plays, continuing. 1 copy of Gizmek Orochi, the honorary Orcust card. Orochi is actually really good in the grind game, just because of one of the cards we play in our extra deck. These are all necessary cards. We haven't gotten to more of the one-card combos yet. 1 copy of Babel. You can make the argument that you need 2. You don't. Once you get to it, you get to it. If it dies, it dies. It is what it is. If it gets cycloned, it gets cycloned. I mean, you can deal with it. 2 copies of Orchestrated Return. It's Orchestrated Return. It's a draw 2. You play a lot of Orcust cards. And you can send them from the field to the graveyard to free up zone spaces to be able to draw 2 cards. Never bad. And then 1 Crescendo. It's Crescendo. It's important. And that's going to do it for the Orcust package. Let's move on to the Scrap package. So continuing our one-card combos, we have 3 copies of Scrap Raptor. Raptor is crazy. So when it's normal summoned, it gives you an additional normal summon. It destroys a card on the field. It's going to destroy itself. And then it gives you an additional Scrap normal summon, so you can normal summon a different Scrap monster. And then when it's destroyed by a card effect, including its own, you can either add Scrap Factory or another Scrap monster from your deck to your hand. That's silly. So what you'll typically want to add is sometimes you will add Factory, but most of the time you're going to add this boy, Recycler, and then you get to normal summon Recycler and start your plays. So it gives you 3 more copies of Scrap Recycler. But wait, there's more. Because we play 3 copies of Scrapyard and Fossil Dig, which we'll go over in a minute. We're also playing 2 Scrap Golems. We want the Refrigerator. We're able to just freely use it more. This deck, it's really not a hardcore brick. It only sucks if you open, both. Nothing you can do about it, but it's pretty rare that you open both of them. The math it's not there, especially in a 50-card list. 3 copies of Scrapyard. It's going to freely add you Scrap Raptor from your deck. 1 Scrap Factory. So this card actually helps you chain block. When a Scrap card is destroyed by a card effect, you're able to special summon another Scrap monster from your deck. So you could chain it with stuff to chain block. So you can make it so your Scrap Recycler or your Scrap Raptor, for example. If you play this with Scrap Raptor, when Scrap Raptor destroys itself, you get to summon Golem from your deck and get to add a scrap card from your deck. So it chain blocks the Raptor effect so that you're guaranteeing the only thing that can ash at the factory, and it helps you maintain advantage. And then continuing another 1-card combo, 3 copies of Fossil Dig. So in there we had 3, 6, 9, 12 copies of 1-card starters, which is craziness. And that's going to do it for the scrap package. Next up is the Machina package. I love the Machina package with Orcust. I think it's insane. So we're going to run 1 copy of Citadel. Citadel being able to blow up cards on the field by destroying a machine monster. You get a lot of advantage off of blowing your own stuff up. But this card just is big, and it's able to blow up the field. 1 Machina Fortress, discarding up to level 8 machine monsters, and then special summoning. It's just a free extender. It helps in the grind game. It gets like World 1 out of your hand or Nightmare out of your hand and things like that. 1 Machina Irradiator, which you use for the Machina package combo, which will target a Machina in the graveyard, destroy one, summon it, and then destroy another Machina, which is typically to get to Mega Form. Mega Form will then tribute itself to freely summon Yeet Cruncher, because Metal Cruncher is crazy good, being able to freely add you a Scrap Recycler. Good stuff. And to make sure that we see the 2 Machinas that we want, we got triple copies of Machina Redeployment, which is another 1-card combo. And finishing the Machina package, which it's not really technically a Machina card, but it works so well with them, I just had to include it here. 3 copies of Urgent Schedule. Another reason to go second. Because if your opponent controls more monsters than you, summon a level 5 or higher and a level 4 or lower Earth Machine monster from your deck for free. And that's going to do it for the Machina stuff. Next up is all of your extra extenders and stuff like that. So we run 1 Crystron Rosenix. This is the best machine thing we can do since we don't have Jet Synchron anymore, or Glow Up Bulb, or anything else that summons from the graveyard. O-Lion, like literally everything.
O-Lion, in fairness, did kind of need to be hit because it was giving tokens also.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the best thing it can do. 1 copy of Ancient Cloak, which is to get you your 1 copy of Silent Boots, and then your 2 copies of Fogblade. So far, so good. Pretty simple. The last 4 cards of the deck are going to be 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. You want to go second. If you don't see it, you don't see it. We'll go over the math, like I said, at the end of the video. But Dark Ruler No More is just a great way to say no. And then 1 copy of World Legacy Succession. It's part of the combo. And that's going to do it for the main deck. Now let's dive in to that lovely extra deck. And in the extra deck, it's shiny, it's beautiful. We're running 2 copies of Galatea. They don't have to be ultimate rare, but I had to have them, and they're beautiful. Galatea just recurs all of your resources. It is the most important card in your extra deck. If I could find the space to run a 3rd, I would run a 3rd. That's how good this card is. 2 copies of Dingirsu. Dingirsu is your Dragoon out. It's your everything out. This card is insane. And it's at 3. And the best thing is that this card pairs really well with Machina Citadel. So what Machina Citadel does is it targets a card on the field. It destroys all monsters and the card it targeted. It destroys all monsters on the field with less attack and then destroys the target. Dingirsu protects the target. Ta-da! You killed your opponent's field and lost nothing. It's pretty crazy. 1 copy of Longirsu. Longirsu just sends things it points to, which is insane. And then 1 copy of Orcustrian. This is for the Urgent Schedule combo. This card is a machine. It's 3,000, and it can turn your opponent's attack points to 0. And negate their effects, which is really good. Next up for the basic Orcust stuff, it's going to be 1 Link Karibo. We also are running 2 Scrap Wyverns. You want to be able to do this in the grind game too. You run so many scrap cards, it doesn't make any sense to run less than 2. The summoning ability, just the power of this card is insane. 1 copy of Barricade Board Blocker. Barricade Board Blocker is just a dark, it's a Link 2 that's easy to make, that's generic and doesn't require dark monsters, so this card becomes really good. 1 copy of IP Masquerena. This is part of your standard Orcust combo. You should know this, you should live this, you should breathe this. 1 copy of Lib. Lib is part of the standard combo. This card, you want to try to keep this on the field if you can, because you can use IP Masquerena to Link Summon during your opponent's turn, use this card, and then you get to bounce a card on the field to the hand as well, which is pretty good. One copy of Unicorn. Unicorn is just a spin a card. It's generic. One Rusty. Rusty Bardiche is super good. It's really easy to get to. And when you summon in Gearsu during your opponent's turn, you can pop 2 cards instead of 1, which is just not nice. And last, your boss monster, Topologic Zeraboros. Card's insane. It gets super thick in the grind game, especially if you just sit on this and make your opponent grind into it if you can't OTK them for whatever reason. Like, this card can just come out of nowhere and just end games. And that's going to do it for Scrap Orcust. This, I think, is the best way to play it right now because it's got so many starters, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and it's a blast. You are going to have a great time playing this deck, and I truly believe that this is the best way to play Orcust and one of the best decks of the format once people get on it. So get on it now and say I told you so. So, all right, let's cut this over and we can talk about the math.
Okay, so it's a 50-card deck, and that means it's pretty big, right? That means that the odds of seeing your combos are kind of low. Well, we actually run a total of 21 starter cards in this deck. That's right, 21. So, in a 50-card version, you start with 5 cards in your hand. That means the chances of you opening 0 starter cards, a big old goose egg, is going to be 5.6%. Less than 6% of your hands you are going to open with 0 starters. 23.5% of the time you'll open with 1. 36.2% of the time you will open 2, which is the biggest percentage here. 25.5% of the time you will open with 3. That's right, you have a higher chance of opening 3 starters than 0. That's a really good thing. And these combos all start off of either spell cards or a single normal summon. And that's huge. So, then we have 8.2% of the time you open 4. That's right, you still have a higher chance of opening 4 than 0. And of course with 5 you're running a 0.9% chance. Okay, but this is a go second deck. You want to go second with this deck because you have Dark Ruler no more, you have Urgent Schedule, you have all these things that help you go second. You can play through multiple interruptions because of your math. And so I think it's actually prudent for you to understand just how consistent this is going second. You want to have 3 or 4 starter cards in your hand typically. And so what we've done, what I've done, is broken it down in a way that you have a pretty good chance. I increase the odds of you opening 3 starter cards by simply making it 50, not by making it 50 cards, but making it so it goes second. So with 0, to open a goose egg going second, you have a 2.9% chance of opening 0 starter cards. You have a less than 3% chance of opening 0 starters. Now, simulators have found a way to mess that up on me. Mathematically, it doesn't make sense that I've opened unplayable on simulators. But, and that's full disclosure, I just have bad luck with simulators. But 2.9% of the time you'll open 0 starters. That's crazy. 3 games out of 100, mathematically speaking. You have a 15.7% chance of opening 1. So your opening only 1 is decreased. 31.4% you'll open 2. That's decreased a little bit. But here's where the numbers get fun. A 30.6% you'll open 3. That's pretty good. 15.3% of the time you'll open 4. Increase the odds of seeing 4. You almost doubled it. You took off a little bit off of 1 and 2, but you increased 3 and 4 and 5 because the chances of opening 5 is 3.7%. You have a higher chance, you are more likely to open 5 starters than 0. That's really good because all of your starters can also double as extenders, which is pretty insane. And almost all of them, depending on your hand composition. And then finally, you have a 0.3% chance of opening 6. So it's not likely that you're going to open 6. It's also not likely that you're going to open 0 or 5. But it's very possible and probable that you'll open anywhere between 1 and 4. Which desperately helps the deck in the realm of consistency. Which is a really good thing. So now, we have shown you the deck. We have talked about it. We have gone over my card choices. Now you see the math and the reason behind it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Tell me what you would do with Scrap Orcust. Would you cut it down to 40 and cut down some of the starters? Would you maybe cut down on certain other cards that I'm running? Maybe put in a danger package that I decided not to run that you can absolutely run. Would you cut the Machina package as a whole? Let me know in that comment section down below. And until next time, lads, good fun. Have luck.